Randomizer fans, welcome back to another edition of the Link to the Past Randomizer 2021 Standard Tournament. We're back after a nail biter. I'm prieR57. Thanks for joining us. I'm here today with homemade beer. Beer, how you doing?
Hey prieR57, how are you doing? I'm good.
My heart is just racing still after that that race we just watched.
Yeah, that came down to the wire. That was very intense to watch, definitely.
Yeah. For those of you who missed it, Penny Royal and Magnet Hands put on a show. Came down to the wire. Check out the VOD if you missed it. But today we're here to watch P-Train and prieR in their first of potentially 3 matches in Group AC here. That's why we've had nothing but race after race after race for the last few days here. So it's pretty crazy to see more game ones kicking off.
Yeah.
It's a great time to have free time, I've been saying.
Yeah, definitely. And so this is Group AC in the main tournament, where the other half of the group is GFE and Imosaru, who have already played their 2 matches, where Imosaru won 2-0. So the winner of this match, not this race, but the full set, will go on to face Imosaru in the winner's bracket, and then the loser will face GFE.
That's right. Yeah, both super skilled runners. So it's going to be a competitive group here in AC as we're off. So as I'm sure you all know by now, it's rainy in Hyrule, which means we are off to save Zelda. It's standard mode. So we're going to be dropping down at the Uncle in just a second to see what our starting weapon is going to be. It's a hammer. I think that's one of the more favored items to start with. What do you think, prieR?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have. Really, you don't want to find it in a gross pendant dungeon later on in the seed.
Yeah, definitely required for a lot of checks throughout the game. And it's nice in this escape sequence as we sort of begin our escape metagame of trying to find a bomb drop to get into the back of escape. So the hammer is going to effectively give us unlimited ammo to kill as many guards and rats and snakes as we need over the next couple minutes.
Yeah, definitely much better to farm those drops with a hammer. You don't want to be, get stuck with Cane of Berna, and then you have to get tricky by throwing bushes and pots and all the fun things around the castle at the enemies.
Exactly. So yeah, settle in, folks. The next 4 or so minutes, we're going to be watching side by side these two go through this dungeon.
Yeah, for those that don't know, this is the mode for the entire tournament. For the main tournament, 2021 is going to be standard mode, where you do the full escape sequence before getting to the overworld, and hard item pool, where there are a lot of changes that mostly remove items.
That's right. And Wolflink, our tracker, pointing out in the chat that we did see an arrow drop from the guards. No bombs in that prize pack, so I think you're probably going to see both of these runners skipping guards and snakes as they work their way through the escape sequence. We still have another opportunity with the rats in the back, as well as a few more treasure chests to find those bombs. Just 10 arrows in the cell. So you can see that hammer that we love so much, making short work of the ball and chain guard.
Yeah, just 2 whacks with a hammer and take him down. Save the princess. Easy game.
So, Beer, you're a fellow competitor in this tournament. What do you think they're feeling right now as they're kicking off the beginning of their series? This one-on-one set of races that's a bit different from the big group qualifiers that they previously played in.
Well, I think they're both pretty veteran runners, and I think a lot of playing this game, there's big group races that go on all the time, and those are always fun because you get to kind of play differently. You don't have to have the nervousness of playing against a single opponent, knowing that you have to do everything better than they do or more efficiently to win. So, and I think they both have plenty of experience. They're hardened veterans of the game.
Yeah,
they're probably just excited to finally get their matches going.
Yeah, definitely. It's been such an exciting last few days, as I alluded to earlier. I'm sure these late starts are chomping at the bit.
Yeah, we're getting to the end of week 1. I think by tomorrow, all of the first round of races should have been won, and the I guess you call it the winners and the losers group stage starts on week 2. So
that's right. From the Rats. So P-Train's still looking for his. We'll see if he's able to find it. Looks like he is going to take the time here.
Very nice. Yeah, it's one of those things too. If you get the actual bomb pack, you can farm a couple and have go into CAC with enough bombs to clear out the village, and not have to rely on hoping for drops in the well or in the back of Blind's house.
Yeah, for sure. You're rarely put in a position where you didn't find bombs and your opponent did. It does happen occasionally, but it's just like it's one thing that you have to pay attention to if you don't find your bomb, and it's always a relief to make it out of here, even if there's no items in this case, aside from a big old heart container.
Yeah, pretty much the nightmare scenario is that the enemies do have a bomb and you weren't able to farm one, that you don't know if your opponent did or not, and then you full clear the game and realize that gloves were in the back of the escape the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
All the way back.
So side by side exits, as you can see how evenly skilled these two runners are, that they wrapped up in about the same amount of time. Good sign for an even match coming up.
Yeah, when you have to farm for bombs and some of the shenanigans depending on weapons and so on, like a low 6-minute escape is fine. I think ideally you want to be out there before 6 minutes, but that really depends on bombs, enemy RNG, starting weapon, all those things.
Yeah. So we're already seeing one different choice being made here. P-Train opting to skip the lumberjack check, it looks like, and prieR is going to go check it out. I see a lot of runners, when you don't start with boots, put this off until later, but yeah, it's good to just have the peace of mind knowing you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, it's very rare there is something there, but I like basically what you said when I play. It's wait for the boots, because then you can kind of chain it in with bonk rocks, and there's maybe a couple other situations, but getting out of the way early, not a huge issue. It's a couple 10-20 seconds to go do that.
Yeah. 300 rupees as well in the lost woods there, so that's helpful. One of the other things we're looking for in early game here is not only Zora money, but just enough money for some of the Dark World checks that we need to do as well. So 300 rupee drop early always feels good. As we see a bit more money in Kakariko.
It was halfway vanilla. Half vanilla, half bombs. It's like the worst ice cream flavor ever.
Yeah, that's not delicious. Of course, Zora is still out of logic until we find either the flippers or the glove, but still looking for that 500 amount.
It's been a really, really dry seed so far. They haven't found anything. Except an armor upgrade.
Yep.
And another armor upgrade.
As you were saying earlier, our items that are removed from the hard item pool, as we find our Moon Pearl and Cape, are transformed into those 20 rupee drops. Moon Pearl and Cape implies something I don't want to speak of just yet.
Yeah, let's dig a little deeper before before we have to jump to that conclusion.
So let's see if we get that chicken clip. Not on P-Train's side. Boomerang, sort of an unnecessary item, but at this point in the game, no sword. It's not too bad. Might use it early to just get dudes out of the way as you're walking around.
Yeah, also good to find out your stun prize, just to keep it in mind for later. You know, if it's hearts or fairies or magic, you can just pick up quick refills on anything you might need later in the seed.
Yeah, a heart stun prize or a magic stun prize in this mode where, like you were saying, you're low on armor upgrades and that sort of thing is really helpful.
I missed the library there, but I'm assuming it was garbage.
I did too. It usually is.
Usually is, exactly.
300, Chad is saying, in a heart container on the race game. P-Train not going to pick that up.
I saw a map check there. What is that? A green pendant on Hera and then 2 crystals? It's pretty quick.
It's so quick. That's one of the crazy things about the caliber of runners we're watching right now is their map checks are just lightning fast. prieR also opting to skip that heart container. So P-Train heading south, pretty conventional play starting at the dam here, but I'm curious if he'll head left or right. I remember him having a lot of success in one of the qualifiers by hitting up Agina early and finding some mitts, so I know that's a play he has made.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an option to do the Dam and Agina and then Moldorm and Ice Rod Cave, etc. Let's see what he does. And you called it.
It's a good play. Much like some of the other things we've been talking about, this can just haunt you if you put it off for too long. So, especially when we're, still a little bit short on Zora money, coming over here with the hope that maybe we find a few bucks and can rat in Zora along with South Shore checks is a decent choice. prieR, on the other hand, opting to continue on with these South Shore checks, heading over to Mini Moldorm. Using bomb strats there, which is a bit easier than the tiny hitbox hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, especially firing up like you would have to do.
Yep. That's a glove and a lamp and a red potion.
That bottle is super annoying. There's not really a reason to ever go back to CAC now.
Yeah, not without a flute. I imagine we'll head back in that direction once we're inching our way into the Dark World, but at the moment, it's Sick is pretty isolated.
Oh, and that gives us Dark World access.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, I was like thinking about this. I'm like, what do we have left to find? Oh, that's what the glove was for.
Yeah, opting to skip Ice Rod Cave, another one of those things that can haunt you potentially. But here's the cave allegedly known as Hype Cave. We'll see if it holds up today. Another bottle.
Like that, allegedly. Now we're in a bottle cave.
Yeah.
See, so far, it's just a bottle in every cave.
Yeah. Not too exciting. Bottles a little bit more helpful in hard standard than they are in other modes, given the health and green mail situation. So 2 bottles ain't too bad, but obviously you're looking for a clearer progression.
Yeah, there comes a point later in the seed when you kind of have too many. You're trying to quick swap, and that you're just cycling through bottles every single time. It gets really annoying.
That's a great point. Yep.
Yeah, like 2 is probably fine. 3, you're like, okay, that's great, and 4, you're like, okay, stop game, please.
So we have Thieves Town and Ice Palace red crystals. I believe I saw Pod and Meyer as pendants.
Yes, that's what I saw as well. Boots in Ice Rod Cave, and a hook shot on the pyramid. Well then.
These are both checks that the runner, the other runner, could potentially put off for a bit.
Yeah, I think having the boots here makes pyramid like a lot more reasonable though.
That's a great point. Yeah, that walk up to Catfish feels a lot better with the boots.
Yeah, prieR gonna get his bottle, number 2. And we are getting to see Catfish, so it looks like prieR just wanted to check out the easy dark overworld and probably go hookshot back across and check out West, or maybe save and quit and go to the village. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, we'll see. There's definitely a lot of options at this point.
No sword so far though, so prieR gonna be running around without a sword, just bashing into enemies and walls. Well, hopefully not walls. Or enemies, I guess.
Probably not walls, but yeah, that's something to remember is the boots are a bit less effective without that sword. Not only can you not dash through enemies, but tech like hammered.
Oh, look at that mushroom on the Catfish there. That's not going to get turned in for a while. And yeah, it looks like prieR's going left towards the village here, so won't get that hookshot just quite yet. And, based on this play, I'd assume that he goes into Village of Outcast portal next when he goes back into the Dark World. So let's see what he decides.
Yeah, either way, without the myths, we'll be able to.
Okay, and we find a book.
Yes, we do.
We found any like non-items on Dark Overworld besides in Hype Cave, or the cave that never has any progression items? Cave.
Dark Overworld, just that hook shot, right?
Well, we found a hookshot, a book, a mushroom.
And the mushroom, yeah.
Whatever Stumpy had. Actually forgot already.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that's even another reason to be a little nervous about the lack of boots over on prieR's side. Game Smart, very important.
Oh yeah, and Stumpy had a bug net, so. Bushcrab throwing out fairies.
Like we said earlier, prieR routing in Lumberjack check here with the boots makes perfect sense. This might be an indication that he'll also be heading up the mountain.
Yeah, and even more so with a cape and a lamp. And, it's like if you find a sword, that check is now in logic, the Lumberjack. So,
yep.
Good information to have for sure.
So a lot open for runners up on the mountain here. Can route all the way around counterclockwise over to Tower of Hera.
Well, prieR never got his hook shot.
Oh yeah, right,
So
absolutely.
He's going up here for the save and quit and maybe checking Spec Rock, but that's about all he's got.
Yeah, that's a great point. Unless there's a mirror available in Spec Rock.
Yeah.
prieR will get kicked off pretty quick.
Yeah, so just getting the save and quit point here, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's something I like to do as well. You're saving and quitting enough times throughout a seed that unlocking the one up on the mountain, which if you do find the flute is the quickest save and quit spot, is really helpful. So we find over in Paradox Cave, ooh, both the mirror and the ice rod.
Well then, we know how P-Train's going to have to do that. He's going to have to get his hook shot pretty soon here, or else he won't have a mirror to get up to East Death Mountain at all.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we're at a risk of having to hunt for that ice rod for too long. That's a check that I'm sure P-Train will prioritize when he does find that hook shot, but definitely helps with routing, as you work your way over to Village of Outcasts and start thinking about, like if we find mitts, start thinking about Smith Chain or something.
Yeah, not going to be one of them terrible ice rod hunt seeds today.
Oh man.
Oh. Good for the runners, bad for the viewers.
Yeah, poor chat. Devastating.
Speaking we're getting a... Go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of things chat likes to see, we're going to get a pedestal check. Surprisingly, not couch cash as it usually is, but it is still cash.
Getting bullied by the thief.
Happens to all of us. So P-Train gonna head over to Village of Outcasts area here, which is pretty far away from that hook shot, unfortunately. So a bit of convergence.
Yeah, I can't see how prieR gets back to Ice Rod Cave without a flute, or maybe the flippers if he's one of the runners that likes to take the whirlpool over by Sanctuary to go check out Ice Rod Cave. But he's got to get there at some point to get that red cane, since we do need it to clear Turtle Rock later.
Yep.
Or maybe earlier, depending on when you're supposed to be going in there.
Yeah, and I mean, more importantly, the longer he doesn't have them, the just more time P-Train is building and building up by going through these rooms just a little bit faster.
Yeah, that's very important as well. Especially like this area, the Thieves Town and Village of Outcasts. There's a lot of long walkways in here.
Yep. Half Magic and C-Shape House.
You know, another check I just realized that P-Train has available on Death Mountain is, yeah, go ahead.
I know what you're talking about, but yes. Yes, we just watched a race where Spike Cave was very important just a little bit ago here on SG4.
The cave that shall not be named.
No, unfortunately I named it, but yeah, I think throughout this tournament, at least the races I've been watching, progression in Spike Cave has been very common. So Thieves Town on one side, Skullwood's on the other side. I feel like I go back and forth on which one to do first as I enter that portal. But heading up to Skullwoods, even without the fire rod, is something a lot of runners do. Just do the front of it.
Yeah, the front checks can be essentially treated like overworld checks because they're just right there. And they're available as soon as you enter the Dark World. So
yep,
makes sense to get them out of the way if you're in the area for any reason.
Yep. Yeah, we saw just a moment ago P-Train taking all the time to lift up all the bushes to head south instead of north as he got out of that portal. So we're gonna get a bumper ledge check. Just $5.
Getting dactyled? Just once though, makes it through, only losing 3 hearts there. But those murder dactyls do a lot of damage with a green mail.
They really do.
Since we since we found both our mail upgrades already, we know that this is the best we're going to get for the rest of the seed.
Yep. Yeah, another another enemy that surprisingly does a lot of damage in this mode are those grasshoppers that prieR just made his way past.
Yeah.
Also getting a graveyard ledge check. This is something that you see people put off for a long time, a lot of the time. So this could pay off. Not this time, though.
Yeah, I feel like prieR's running out of overworld here. He's basically got... Does he have any overworld left? I don't think so. I think he just has Ice Rod Cave, and then otherwise he has to start dipping dungeons and Thieves. Oh,
ooh, there's those mitts. Yeah, I want to say we haven't seen Sahasrahla.
Oh, that's right.
But I think you're right. So those mitts are a good find. I'd be curious to see if prieR takes the time to do mirrorless Smith Chain at this point.
Seems like a good idea. Well, it's you like it better with a sword, right? So you can do spike caves with the dash strats, or hammer pegs, rather. Sorry.
Yep.
See, now I got spike cave on the mind.
Yeah, chat pointing out K45's an option as well for prieR anyway.
Ah, that's right. I forgot he grabbed that mirror up there. So.
Yep.
Yeah, prieR getting a little bullied by blind here, but has all the equipment that he could possibly need to complete this fight.
Yeah, nicely done. You don't see Samaria blind too often. So 25 minutes. We have a crystal.
Yeah, that's one of our red crystals, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah, so I think he does, you probably want to get hammer pegs out of the way with those mitts and get all these mitts checks out of the way while you're in the area. Grab the smith and I'm not sure actually what you do after that, if you take him home right away.
Yeah, with prieR having already done Hype Cave and stuff like that, you're not going to see him take the frog on a world tour like you often do in this scenario. So yeah, he might grab him and turn him in right away, or he might skip it. We'll see. Looks like he's on his way though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, he never checked Bumper Cave, right?
Yeah, so he's going to do these north checks. Yep, and Skull. Yep.
See, now I'm getting confused because prieR did all these. And I'm like, oh well, prieR probably did too, right?
Right. Yeah, I think that made sense. The hope is you find the fire rod as you're working through the required crystal Thieves Town or something like that, and then you're able to single dip Skullwoods. Didn't work out that way, so he'll also be doing the double dip here, but totally reasonable play from both sides.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting to see because they both have a movement item that led to progression, right? Like prieR got the hook shot, prieR got the boots, and the boots led to Red Cane. The hook shot led to the mirror, so.
Yep.
So they're gonna, their progression's gonna run dry eventually. They'll find each other's checks. And I guess when prieR finds the mitts in here, he has access to all of Dark Death Mountain now too, from that.
It could potentially just delay heading over to Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, it's... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, just reminding viewers that's where the boots are.
Yeah, I was just trying to think that, once you have these mitts, you do have all that open, but you don't want to keep climbing Death Mountain over and over. You lose a minute at least every time you do it, so.
Yep. Yeah, with the mirror, I wouldn't be surprised to see prieR prioritize Smith Chain in a way that pTrain maybe didn't.
Nice. I think he grabs the Smith here.
Whew. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it's so easy to avoid it without the mirror. You really want the mirror to do it. At least I do. But yeah, to your point, when you're sort of running low on checks, then you might just begrudgingly start that Smith Chain.
Looks like he's gonna go for a Kern jump here.
Yep, that or I mean, this could be good. This could result in him routing down to.
No mirror, pTrain. Oops.
No. Yeah, he could still do it though, and it could result in him routing down to pyramid. Potentially.
No flippers, pTrain. Oh, maybe he was just kind of setting up his position.
Yeah, I wonder if this was the plan, or if he was actually planning on just going and checking Graveyard Ledge and being like, well, might as well just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it's always the plan once you do it, right?
That is correct. So heading to Catfish, as you can see, yeah, I could see him saving and quitting here, but let's see, if you're a pTrain fan, you hope for him to turn around and head to the pyramid.
And prior taking down blind, a little bit of a trolley fight, but not as off the rails as pTrain's was. Either way, both runners take down blind easy for their first crystal.
Yep, all tied up. He is saving and quitting.
Yeah, he'll get there eventually. He's kind of running out, I think. I think he just has Spike Cave and Pod area.
Yeah, Pod, Eastern, Sahashala area is pretty dense with items. We know he needs the pyramid though. So I guess the hope is after he turns in this mushroom, that he heads over in that direction, but through the Dark World, and checks the pyramid on the way. So prior to finding that book at the digging game, you need to dig before you grab the Smith.
Yeah, now prior can do bombos, or well, they can check bombos. Oh, there we go. There's our first sword.
Yeah, 31-minute fighter sword over on pTrain's side.
Getting that trolley fake flipper there by bonking off the tree. And looks like a King's Tomb check.
Just 20 bucks. So prior is, in fact, going to take the Smith home. pTrain going to make a desert play, I think. Getting that book ready.
Yeah, this makes sense. You can full clear desert.
Ooh, flippers at the Smith.
Wow, okay. It's this seed's going in all different directions, I think, mainly because of that, choice for pTrain to do Ice Rod Cave and prior to do Pyramid, and both runners opting not to do the other one.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if those flippers push him in the direction of Ice Rod Cave at all. It might push him in the Zora direction, but it's going to be up to him whether he wants to loop those in together.
Yeah, I like doing the sank start to whirlpool to get the ice rod cave when you have flippers. If flute isn't showing up at any point, you know, you're getting deep enough into a sea. Okay, you know, I want to go check that at some point. I like doing it that way. It seems like probably the best way to get there, honestly, without a flute or boots.
Yeah, very convenient shovel location too there in Cave 45. Gonna be able to just walk up and dig that up. Ooh, that's a bow.
Wow, okay. So the seed's really opening up for prieR with those boots. Kind of bottlenecking the whole thing right now, except for like going back up the mountain again for prieR. Like, that's really bad.
Yep. Yeah, you have to think with that bow now, prieR is targeting. Pod is a pendant, but you know, some runners like to dip in anywhere. There's so many checks in there.
Yeah, and those just realizing those flippers open up Swamp Palace to full clear as well.
Yep.
But yeah, so for anyone just, you know, check it. Oh, there's sword number 2. So now they have the tablets as soon as prieR turns in the mushroom and prieR completes the Smith chain.
Yeah, we could see prieR checking that along with this swamp play, maybe right after swamp.
We're still missing our fire rod though, which is kind of funny.
Yep.
We got the ice rod super early and no fire rod.
Yeah, we do need it for both Skullwoods and Turtle Rock. Potentially Ice Palace as well, so... Good old NMG Landmo bow strats there on prieR side.
Yeah, flexing the bow he found in desert.
Yep.
But this does give him access to the eastern area now. Well, access. It allows him to complete the dungeon. But this might give him incentive to go over there, I think is what I meant to say.
Yep, the question is whether he will, like I said, going through the Dark World and check that pyramid on the way.
He doesn't have the mirror.
Oh, great point. Great point.
So yep. This is a really cool seed for the way it opened up based on what these runners chose to do. Well, okay.
There it
just
is.
Kidding. Found it. Yeah, so just a quick recap, anyone who's like kind of tuning in a bit later on, the way the runners opened up when they went to South Shore, prieR decided to check Ice Rod Cave where prieR skipped it because they found Dark World access in Mini Moldorm Cave. And the boots were in Ice Rod Cave, so it allowed prieR to go, well, it allowed both of them to go into the Dark World, and prieR chose to take, they both started from Hype Cave, and prieR chose to go left, prieR chose to go to the pyramid, and prieR found the hook shot on the pyramid, which prieR has not been to yet.
Yep, and it just feels like every new bit of progression we find for both racers, it pushes them away from the item they need, weirdly.
Yeah, because right now, prieR needs those flippers, which were on Smith. He's pretty much full cleared Village of Outcasts. That's the last place he wants to go until he finds the mirror, unless there's something kind of, you know, convincing him that maybe Smith has something. You know, I feel like the bow is going to be the last thing he finds for a while, and and now he has a red cane as well.
Yep.
So I think we're in Medallion No mode. Is that right? Yeah, I believe so.
Yep. We know we don't need the flute for desert at this point, so I believe that is correct. But to your point, Turtle Rock will definitely need a medallion of some sort. prieR trying to line up that bomb diver down, manages to get it. So left side, most likely a bust, unless we find one of those medallions over here. Could be spicy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. We know where all the progression is. Oh, you know what's funny? Oh, I just remembered Red Cane was in Bonk Rocks. I was thinking, oh, why does P-Train have that? But...
Yep, another one of those items blocked by one of the bits of progression that the other runner has not found.
I don't remember, was the big key in Desert available without the boots? Was it just the small key on the torch?
That's a great question.
I kind of missed that earlier.
I also, yeah, I looked over and P-Train was already opening the big chest. Big key was on map chest, according to Wolflink in the chat.
Okay, so prieR can get that bow out of Desert. Assuming he goes there next, checks Bombos along the way with the mirror. He can get that bow, and then he'll probably want to head over to Eastern as well. Yep. But then the real question is, when does he ever go find those boots? I think he'll be incentivized to go do to kind of do a pod EP combo at that point. He won't have much left. I guess he'll find the Fire Rod on the way, so that'll give him Ice Palace and open up Pyramid Fairy as well. But
yeah, that's a good point. That could push him away from pod potentially. Yeah, I haven't really found much here in Swamp or Eastern. So with the right choices, this could have been a very, very fast seed for one of our runners.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was about to agree with you that it's really starting to feel that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Barring Medallion in a weird spot, of course.
Yeah, as far as we can tell, there might not be any reason to even need to touch a Pendant Dungeon this entire seed, which could be potentially really bad for prieR.
Yeah, either of them really. Like I could see, P-Train at this point too, just walking down to that portal.
Actually, yeah, you're right. I think maybe worse for P-Train now that I'm thinking about it, because he still doesn't have that hook shot, so he's the one who's missing more progression in a way. Yeah, you called it. I keep trying to remember which things the boots unlocked and which things the hookshot unlocked, and I think the whole seed was unlocked by the hookshot, basically.
Yep. So I think the main thing here is Canis Maria over on P-Train's side locked by the boots, and mirror and hookshot, and Ice Rod too. Yeah, locked by that hookshot on prieR side.
prieR taking down Argus with 2 cycles of double Ice Rod hits.
Yeah, close to 1 heart.
Yeah, and prieR never got that bug net from Stumpy, so...
Yep. Everyone laughs at the bug net, but sometimes catching a fairy helps. Getting a Bombos check, Bombos tablet check, just couch cash.
And that's interesting, a bow-locked pod here.
Yep, I'm sure any runner in this tournament knows how to evade that if they'd like to, but yeah, P-Train has the bow, obviously.
Yeah, and prieR about to pick up his bow as well.
So we could potentially still find something in pod. It's not, even though we know where sort of our primary bits of progression are, we could still find that medallion here. So
yeah, that's very true. This dip still could be needed, but Pretty sure that's it for him. He has to go to Pyramid after this. I think he's literally done everything else up to this point. Or Smith Chain as well.
Yep. And remind me, both racers got different swords, right? prieR got the one in the mushroom.
Correct. prieR got a sword from Purple Chest, in fact.
Right. So we have no mode on our 2 required swords here, but as far as the racers are concerned, they are still looking for one more sword.
Yeah, I think prieR gets his second sword faster here, almost for sure, because full Smith Chain versus a quick mushroom pit stop.
Right. Yeah, a flute for prieR would be incredible because that would make both that sword and his boots super easy to access.
Yeah, but this doesn't look like I mean, flute's not needed on the seeds, so we might not ever find it. Might be buried in Ganon's tower or somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so once prieR heading into the back of Desert here, once he completes it, both of our runners will have three crystals, but 3 different crystals. Crystal dungeons completed.
It's so interesting how much divergence there are just based on that one decision early on.
Yeah, you kind of love to see it. These are when races are really fun, when they're not super linear seeds.
Yep, makes our job a little bit harder, but I think we can manage. I hope.
Yeah, I find these races way more entertaining as well. So
yeah.
Not to say it's bad to see, races that are linear. Like, all races are still great, and I love watching this game, but
yeah, prieR with the nice hammer yump there. Makes a lot of sense without the mirror. There's Bombos.
Oh boy.
That could be it. Yeah, without the mirror, this opens up cleaner pod routing and another sword.
Okay, well, this at least opens Ice Palace for sure. I would imagine prieR goes there to sequence break that dungeon after this, but he'll have to go into the light world first. Does he check Pyramid on the way?
Gosh, yeah, I don't know.
Or do you go to Ice Palace first?
Some folks just like to follow progression to a T, especially this late in a seed where doing things out of logic could just be a waste of time. I don't know. That's a great question, but yeah, that could be a bit of time spent not go moding Ice Palace if he does in fact head there.
Yeah, I mean, oh, you know what? This is something you said earlier that, or maybe chat said. I'm starting to get confused. I'm trying to listen and watch and read chat all at the same time. But if he can now, he could actually do Ice Palace by sequence breaking without the flippers, and now do Pyramid Fairy and Pyramid Ledge. So I have a feeling that's what he's thinking about right now.
Yeah, it's just it's totally possible. But again, with as few checks as he's going to have open after this, like, do you want to break logic at this point, or do you just want to wrap up those few remaining checks? Very good question as well. Like, he doesn't have access to East Death Mountain. Swamp isn't very appealing without the hook shot. Like, he has to know at this point that it's just floating around somewhere. Yeah, and because the way it's laid out, hookshot leads to the mirror, so he can't even go into Swamp if he wanted to at this point. Oh, right, exactly. Yep. So yeah, he's just kind of wondering, like, how the heck am I supposed to get to East Death Mountain on this seed? Yep. Speaking of East Death Mountain, here is East Dark Death Mountain over on prieR's side. This should give us our first look at what the required medallion is going to be. As far as prieR is concerned, hasn't found any of those medallions, so he doesn't care. But we know that we have Bombos so far. If you're rooting for prieR, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't feel like. Well, maybe it depends. I'm trying to think of a reason he might want to check pod. He still does need the boots. The boots are locking red cane right now. So over in Bonk Rocks.
Yep. P-Train's saving and quitting to avoid the pending cutscene.
I think he's gonna check out the cave.
Well, this has rapidly become my favorite check, so love to see it.
Yeah, so what he has pyramid for in logic checks. He has pyramid. He has these three checks up here, and then Smith chain, I believe. I think that's it.
Yeah. By the way, there was I think a very quick medallion check on TR. I'm seeing Quake in chat.
It was Quake.
Okay, cool.
And prieR has Quake. Wait, does he? Oh, he does not. Sorry.
I don't think so. Yeah. Oh my god, this is my dream right now. 2 spike caves?
Oh, okay. P-Train has Quake.
Yeah, speaking of Quake. Yeah, sorry, spoilers, folks.
Now prieR has Quake. So, yeah, we're now definitely in no mode. P-Train has to get over to Smith Chain and Pyramid. Pyramid to get his hook shot, Smith Chain to get the flippers on the Smith 1, and then the Ice Rod and Mirror are in Paradox Cave. So once he has those, and once he checks that out, he will be in go mode.
Yep, the thing I would be a little nervous about is whether, well, no, without the Mirror P-Train, or without the hookshot and Mirror P-Train can't even make it to TR, so he's not going to dip in without the 2 rods.
Yeah, he'll have to get to Pyramid soon. So he gets, he turns in the Smith here, but he has to do it without the Mirror since he doesn't have the hookshot still.
Yep.
So question in chat, Samaria is in Bonk Rocks. So the boots are required on the seed, but not because of desert.
Yep, and boots are just hanging out in Ice Rod Cave. They've been available since minute 6 of the seed when they exited Escape.
Yeah, so this is also kind of awkward because now he can go into Ice Palace. Depending on the layout, you know, parts of it might be hookshot locked or items he could find in there. But because he has Red Cane, he can bypass all that and do the Icebreaker. But he won't be able to get his Fire Rod without the Mirror, which is again locked by hookshot.
Oh gosh, yep.
So he knows the Fire Rod's there.
And prieR making that pod play completely reasonable. A lot of checks. But unfortunately, we know that it is not the right choice. There is a sword in there, so that will not be nothing, but
yeah, this is that whirlpool I was talking about. That is the quickest way back to Ice Rod Cave for prieR if he never finds a flute, which it's kind of starting to look like we're not going to see a flute on this seed.
Yep. Yeah, this is something I like to see from these veteran runners, is just like knowledge of the waterways that you don't necessarily see more novice players taking advantage of.
Yeah, I don't know if it's faster than walking from Link's house, but definitely for Ice Rod Cave it is.
Yeah. So here's that Ice Palace play. Makes a lot of sense. Not only is P-Train running out of stuff to check, but this is also a dungeon that is relatively quick whether or not you're in go mode, especially with that cane.
By the way, did prieR check Hylia Island? Do you know?
That's a good question. I'm Not sure. I know prieR did, for sure.
Looks like chat's saying he didn't. So prieR still doesn't have knowledge of that fire rod, but the troll for him on this seed is going to be that red cane. That could be anywhere for him, basically.
Yep. Yep. Not only would the boots have just sped up a lot of these walks through dungeons here, but if he ends up making this Ice Palace play before finding that red cane, that's going to be another loss of time relative to how quick prieR is able to do it.
Yeah, that's the icebreaker is pretty huge in this dungeon.
And there's Ether.
Well, I guess prieR doesn't care what medallion's on TR now.
Yeah, that's sort of nice for prieR. He just doesn't have to worry about it at this point.
Yeah, he's in a... Well, he actually still needs kind of a lot. He still needs hookshot, both rods, a mirror.
Yeah, he does, but finding that hookshot is going to open up East Death Mountain, and that will just give him everything he needs, right? So that's so many checks up there. As soon as he finds that hookshot, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to think out of this. You finish ice. Then he only has 2 checks left, so... This is, excuse me. This is probably going to be the big bomb into pyramid.
So here's your cold stare fight. Open him up with bombos. Try to get him in the corner. Probably rely on that hammer, maybe. Oof, and he misses. Yep.
Okay, then. This will be a little bit more fun of a fight. There's a red goo, I think, right? In case he needs it.
I believe so, but one hit from these eyeballs. Yeah.
This is good. This is pretty tight here. Wow, that's aggressive. Trying to hammer the puffs inches away from his face.
Yeah, still relying on sword spins, which is a little bit safer than the hammer, man. But still, sword spins, like, sort of render you immobile for a second. It's not totally safe.
Yeah, they better connect, for sure. Wow, he's just he's pixels off of getting hit from every single thing in this fight. All the puffs, the falling ice, everything is just trying to gun him down.
Ooh! Whew. Folks, that was impressive.
Yeah, that's almost one of them clip-worthy fights there. It's one where you unclench afterwards.
So prieR working his way through pod. Yeah, this is where it's just starting to feel like just the speed of the boots has given prieR an advantage as time has gone on and on and on here.
Yeah, I think prieR will find bombos in here, but it'll be kind of one of those. Well, we know it's not needed. I think the only thing of value that he'll actually find, unfortunately, is a sword in the back of Dark Maze. But otherwise, pod doesn't have anything we need, and we don't even need to complete it. It's a pendant dungeon.
Yep. So prieR is making the Pyramid Fairy, Pyramid Ledge play that chat anticipated. So this is good for P-Train. I think we're just gonna have to hope that he heads right up the mountain after finding this hook shot.
Yeah, this goes back actually to something you mentioned earlier, that P-Train likes to do that early Agena check and just be very thorough in the early part of the seed, in the early Sphere 1. He's full cleared everything up to this point, so he knows there's something up here, and whatever it is will lead to what he needs to do to complete the game.
Yeah, I'm sure not too surprised to see that at this point, given how few checks there are left.
Okay, maybe we will see a flute.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's no way you don't do Death Mountain here with like 26 checks or whatever that are open right now.
Yeah. So we know both Mirror and Ice Rod are in Paradox Cave, so P-Train is about to find those. Yeah, I wonder if he just leaves immediately and goes and grabs that Fire Rod. Has to, right?
Yeah. You get those 2 items and you're done. The seed's over. You check whatever chests are in the same room as you, maybe, for a sword. But then he's going straight to the Fire Rod, finish off Skullwood, Swamp Palace, etc. He's in go mode. He's effectively in go mode in the next 30 seconds here.
Yep. Yep, and prieR, meanwhile, we could absolutely see, now that he has Bombos, heading over to Ice Palace, making a similar play to what P-Train did.
Yeah, and another thing that you had mentioned at the beginning of this is, early on when you're trying to collect money, if you need to go do Zora, all these other checks, P-Train skipped all of that.
It's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, he's out. He's not checking Dark Death Mountain, does not care. He has all 3 medallions.
Yeah, it makes sense. We'll see if he checks some of those checks on the way up to Totorock, just with the hopes that he finds another sword. So we'll see. Even though he hasn't actually acquired the Fire Rod yet, we'll probably see P-Train skip most of Swamp here.
Yeah, I don't think that. He probably just opens the Diver Down chest and the water. Does he even open the Waterfall chest? Probably, but we'll see.
Yeah, Tempered Sword is a pretty massive improvement throughout the game, especially on Ganon, though. That those checks that you're like literally walking directly next to, I don't know. I would check those.
Yeah, I think if you know the Samaria strat with the Master Sword, like if you had like a perfect Master Sword versus Tempered Sword fight, I want to say it's only about a minute time save, maybe even less. For expert runners.
Sure.
It's just kind of like you got to be safer. It's a little more grueling of a fight, a lot more patience, and good execution pays off.
I did grab that Fire Rod.
Yeah, so it looks like he pieced out before fighting Helma, which was the right call. But spending time doing Zora, and like you said, like you've been saying, the early game boots advantage only grows bigger and bigger, for the runner who got the boots. So we're definitely starting to really see that here.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, P-Train head right to the back. Is going to check these chests.
What do they say? There's always bombs in Swamp Palace?
Yeah, that's the saying. There's always a bomb in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yep, and like we were saying, prieR, unfortunately, forced to do Ice Palace the old-fashioned way here.
Yeah, I actually don't even know what the time difference is, but I know it's a lot. Doing the Ice Palace bomb jump versus the icebreaker strategy.
Yeah, it's significant. At least it feels significant. Yeah, P-Train really running away with this one at this point.
Ah, running. I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing. I was trying to add on to that with anything, but
Yeah, as we know from watching so much Rando over the last few days, as we see a really nice ice rod.
Yeah, it was very
Argus there. Yeah, this is only game 1 of a best-of-3 series, so we're going to see more between these 2 racers. They actually have a double-header coming up tomorrow at 6:40. So if we need to have a game 3, you're going to see both game 2 and 3 between P-Train and prieR tomorrow. Yeah, I think first one's at 6:40, and then the second one will be right after that.
Yeah, it'll be great to see. Yeah, I don't think there's, like you were saying before, we're coming up on the end of week 1 here. I don't think there's very many matches left to determine the round 2 matchups. So P-Train officially in go mode, now heading over to Skull Woods to finish off the back of the dungeon. He already did the front earlier while looking for all the items he needed. And as soon as he finishes that, all he has left to do is climb up Death Mountain and go finish off Turtle Rock.
Yep, not even taking the time to activate that flute.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, actually. How is he going to get down from the top of GT to fight Jim?
Yeah, it does make me wonder why I work so hard to find that flute and activate the flute in this game when you just get the free ride anyway.
Yeah, you know, when you have the flute, it's like, why walk anywhere when you can fly? But you know, when you don't activate the flute, why walk anywhere when you can instantly teleport with a save and quit?
It's true.
Sorry, why fly anywhere?
It's true. Yep, that clutch old man save and quit choice that P-Train made.
Actually, yeah, that's true. He just went up there at the beginning of the match just to get that save point, and now it's actually coming in super handy.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I've seen him make that play quite a bit. Especially when he finds the flute, he'll often go activate that save point and just immediately leave.
Well, it's funny too because in the way the seed played out, you could have gotten everything he's done without ever saving the old man, and then activating the flute might actually be faster, right?
Oh, funny. prieR having a bit more luck with Cold Stare than P-Train did.
Yeah, that fire rod comes in real handy there.
Yeah.
Equivalent to 4 Master Sword slashes, I want to say, or 2 Master Sword spins for each fire rod shot, and it can get splash damage. So
yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, you just spam it if you can get him in the corner, and makes for an easy fight. So prior heading up to Zor area, unfortunately.
yeah, doing more flippers checks, just pulling him further and further away from what he needs to be, where he needs to be right now.
Yeah, you have to believe this is one of those cases where he knows he has isolated Ice Rod Cave and he's choosing to skip it at this point, thinking that like, hey, this if something important is there, if the boots are there or something, that's GG. It's one of those feelings you have in these one-on-one races.
Yeah, especially he hasn't really found anything for. I can't even think of the last thing he found that was progression.
Right. Yeah, aside
The
from
bow, I think.
Yeah, so as far as we're concerned, I believe it was the bow. We found Bombos and Pod, which we knew isn't necessarily required, and did eventually grab that fire rod.
Yeah, he's had access to that fire rod. I think he even knew about it for quite a while. So, but now he can do Skull Woods here. So I guess this makes sense from his perspective. Like he doesn't know where to go because he doesn't have the boots.
Yeah, just keep clearing dungeons and hope you find what you're looking for on the way, I guess.
Oh yeah. No, he did Dark Death Mountain already, so he's gonna do Skull Woods here. He'll have 6 crystals. And then I guess he has just Pyramid Fairy left? Did he do Ether Tablet? I don't remember.
I know he did Bombos Tablet. Not sure about Ether Tablet. Yeah, I'll be curious to see if he finds that that flute before heading down to Ice Sword Cave. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, chat asking if prieR found boots early. That's really been the difference here. Is prieR was just a little bit more thorough with his early checks, both going to Agina and Ice Rod Cave early.
Yeah, basically prieR cleared all of Sphere 1 checks except for Eastern area. And the main difference in what happened in the seed was that Hookshot was on Pyramid, which was last locationed actually by prieR, except for a sword and purple chest, which he has now skipped and will have abandoned forever. And that was one of the absolute first things prieR found in the Dark World, which led to a lot of progression that's kind of like gross checks you don't really want, like the mirror and stuff.
Yep.
Like really slow out of the way things.
Yeah, for a while it did sort of feel like, all right, both of these runners made a choice that the other one didn't. Which one will pay off?
Yeah,
as it turns out, one of our runners is in Go Mode T-Rock here, and prieR's still looking for stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising getting the boots early makes you go so much faster.
Weird how that works.
But prieR taking down the Moth for his 6th crystal. Just looking for those boots in Ice Rod Cave. That's all that he has left to go solve here. It's funny too. I realized that I don't even know if prieR would remember at this point where he found the medallions, but he never knew what Turtle Rock was until he opened it, and by then he had all the medallions. So,
It's
maybe we'll have to remind him after the race that Quake was. Let's ask him where Quake was.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those really good feelings to just not even have to worry about it before you head up here.
Oh well, we just found our 4th sword in Skullwood Bridge chest. So P-Train is going to be on Master Sword for the rest of this seed. And good thing he got knocked off of Laser Bridge too, because I guarantee he was just looking for that 4th sword that he would have never found.
Yep.
Oh, it looks like prieR is going into Hera.
Yeah, again, it's just, at this point, there's no doubt that he's aware of Ice Run Cave as something he's isolated, and yep, you know, you gotta find that item. Just gotta check stuff.
Yeah, oh, just that one check is gonna obviously haunt him for this race, but you know, sometimes when this happens and you miss something early and you end up like chasing all the logic as far as you can as far as you can tell, like what's going on based on the items you found and the locations you found them. You go on just an infinite wild goose chase until you're, you know, all of a sudden at the very last thing you find, you're like, oh, I found the item I need, and you look up and your opponent has already sent a dot done.
Yep.
And you're kind of like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of the things that I personally find really interesting and special about this game is, despite how much of a difference early choices like that can make, so often we find our runners like converging so close by the end.
So that was his 7th crystal, and we have a game we like to play. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But,
No.
We should get that started. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower location. One of them being the big key. Place your guesses in chat where you think the big key will be.
Yep, I'm not sure I can actually kick the bot off. There we go. So P-Train is taking the few extra seconds to look for that sword. Makes complete sense.
All right, get your guesses in chat. We'll be stopping as soon as he enters Ganon's Tower.
Do you have a number you usually go with?
I usually go with 1. I forgot to put anything in this time.
Me too. I won the previous race with 11. That was...
Oh yeah, that's right. You got announced.
Yeah, almost as exciting as the race itself for me.
There's my guess down the drain.
Yeah, but we did find that key in Hope Room here. So P-Train going to continue to the right.
Oh, and prieR finding the powder in Hera, and I think that was a big 20 in the big chest, so he's out. There's nothing here left for him in Hera. Oh, it's the green pendant, I guess, but no,
yeah,
he's using it to go on.
Yeah, I'll have to check Magic Bat, I guess.
Yeah.
Oof.
So we have, what is this, 3 through 6 coming up?
I believe you are correct. As we see some fun Mario block kicks.
Looks like it was 5.
There you go. P-Train, of course, does need 1 small key. Just going to grab right there. Yeah, congrats to X Machine 11, the winner of today's GT Big Key guessing game. Enjoy your points. Wow, 21 points.
Nice.
Of course, those points can be redeemed for the admiration of your peers.
prieR about to find his 4th soul, or found the remnants of his 4 sword that was melted down to make more rupees.
Yep.
Yeah, which chat pointing out is funny that that was P-Train's first sword.
That's right. Yeah, we had a pretty late sword, pretty late swords on for both of our runners.
Is this prieR going to?
Yep, it looks like it.
All right. Man, that's so unfortunate though, because of the way the seed was laid out, that they needed you to have boots just for the red cane. Like even Desert was logically boots locked, but you didn't need the boots to complete it, which we've seen that prieR has already done. So
that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. He got bottlenecked there.
Wow, okay. Getting some area of effect bounce from that fire rod shot on the red Zazak. But yeah, P-Train getting through the gauntlet last round before... oh boy.
prieR. Oh no. Yep. I feel you, buddy.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, you know at this point. Of course, always hope to see someone play it out, but oh, P-Train. Okay, has a fairy. The screen on the right's just killing me. Ugh.
Yeah, just getting through the torch room now.
Yep, we know it is academic at this point. Hoping to see prieR come back to life at some point, especially since there's going to be at least a game 2 in this series. Yeah, it's possible he may have just known it was over at that point and cut the stream. So let's focus on some high quality execution at the top of GT here. We're on P-Train's side.
Yeah, just looking back on where, I think P-Train would have been entering or started the Ganis Tower climb right as prieR would have been, getting his boots. So he still would have had to go find the red cane at Bonk Rocks, assuming that's the next check he does here, and then, all of Turtle Rock, and then head into GT. So
yeah,
so it's obviously a big enough difference here, especially with the boots advantage, like we said, starting 20 some minutes into the game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've seen enough runners isolate that ice rod check that I don't think missing it is necessarily a death sentence. But I totally understand feeling just awful seeing that. As we see P-Train on Aga 2 here. Aga 2 goes down, and that free duck that we were just talking about, unearned duck, is going to take him down to the pyramid. Yeah, we are about to see Master Sword, Silverless Ganon, everyone's favorite version of Ganon. To your point, prieR, we'll see if we make any use of Canis Samaria.
Oh, getting a nice setup here for this corner.
Yeah,
and a nice setup on the bottom as well.
Yeah, being able to get those 2 spins in is pretty significant. It's my understanding that 2 is more than 1.
Yeah, and a nice setup on the top here as well, so you can get a full cycle here if he doesn't get hit. I think you need the cape for the last 2, I believe. Oh, okay, he just decides to use it for safety, which is totally fair. And gets hit. Oops. Oh, he grabbed that fairy on the way into Turtle Rock. That was smart. Heads up play there. See, we did need the bug net. Remember what I was saying earlier, that all of the overworld items in the Dark World were necessary items.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks, Stumpy.
It really does make me feel better as someone who grabs every fairy possible to see runners this skilled still making use of the bug net.
Yeah. Yeah, the trick is to item dash into fairies, right? Super cool while you do it, while you while you're just grabbing safeties. I had to set up the torch glitch. And how many spins do we need here?
It's 24, right?
24, exactly. What did they call it the other day? The let's start the spin cycle, something?
Yeah, we're gonna be here for a sec.
The first couple phases are the tumble cycle, and now we're on the spin cycle.
Yeah, with any luck, we'll get 3 per fire rod shot here.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill to be able to set it up without missing a single hit in between warps.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Or freezing Ganon.
Yep. Yeah, like a lot of things in this game, there's just sort of a rhythm to it that you get a feel for as time goes on. Moldorm's kind of similar. You just sort of get a feel for it, and eventually you're able to anticipate movement, and in this case, get these spins in 3 at a time.
Yeah, I always kind of think of like fighting Ganon as like a dance. You just have to learn the steps, and then, you know, the more you do it, the more you practice with it, like the easier it is to kind of control the fight and make it easier for you to like do the motions correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very high school dance though, because you don't want to touch him. You want to make sure there's adequate distance between you and Ganon.
Yeah, keep your 6 feet apart, Ganon.
There you go. So get your GGs in the chat for prieR. Assuming we make it across this bridge, of course.
Of course.
All right, now you're allowed to get your GGs in chat for prieR. With an official time of 1:27:07. GG to prieR.
Yeah, we do have confirmation that prieR has forfeited this race as well.
Yep. So, prieR, what'd you think of the seed?
Helps when you unmute yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, GG's prieR.
Appreciate the GGs. Yeah, so I don't know. I felt super behind. I felt good finding Boots in Ice Rod Cave because I thought that honestly the save and quit out of Mini Moldorm felt very tempting.
Yeah, you had Dark World access after the glove there, right?
Yes. But I'm glad I didn't. When I found Boots in Ice Rod Cave, I felt really good. Hookshot just felt awful. And I mean awful. But I was consoled by the fact that I had 2 swords that were in really awful places in a pendant dungeon. Bombos may or may not be required, but there was nothing else useful there. And I also had the sword out of pod and the sword off of catfish, or catfish by proxy. So it's like maybe my opponent skipped one of those. I don't know. I hate to hear that prieR skipped the boots though. That's rough.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say it was sort of the story of the seed was you picked up those boots early, and prieR on the other hand picked up the hookshot pretty early, which opened up the mirror eventually. So you were both doing much different routes based on those early choices that you both made.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when I could have done when I should have done pyramid. I don't know, like finding the bow where it was and having Eastern, it felt like it made sense to do Sahasrara and then go to Eastern, which was a crystal, right? But then after that, you have Pod, and it's like, do you really save and quit after Eastern to pick up Graveyard Ledge on the way to Pod when you're like literally right there? Also, I knew Fire Rod was on the Hylia Island. So if I get Flipper, or no, I didn't have Flippers at the time. I don't know. Either way, like Flippers and Mirror, a Hookshot puts me on Dark Death Mountain. Mirror puts me on Dark Death Mountain. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do Pod. So and then that didn't pay out in the way I hoped it did. So that was unfortunate.
So yeah, so you did find a sword in Pod though, which turns out was needed since you you didn't find the other swords, but we actually saw all 4 swords on stream here, and it's kind of funny that one of them ended up in Purple Chest, and the other one was on the Bridge Chest in Skullwoods. So you definitely weren't going to find those other ones.
Yeah, when finding the Flippers on the Smith chain, I knew that gave me instant access to Pyramid Fairy after clearing Ice, and of course, Ice has items in it as well. So at that point, I did not feel comfortable staying around.
Yeah, at some point it became clear that Pyramid is just going to happen along with that Pyramid Fairy check, so it was just a matter of waiting to see Ice Palace wrap up.
Yeah, that was kind of my insurance, right? Like that's the only reason why I felt comfortable putting off the Graveyard Ledge, because it's like, oh yeah, I'll just clean it up with Pyramid Fairy, and then Pyramid Fairy ended up being locked behind Mirrorless Smiths, which just didn't work out with the way I routed Village of Outcasts. So it is what it is.
Well, I mean, all things considered, it kind of helped you because there was so much stuff behind the hookshot that were like kind of crappy out of the way locations, right? You had like all of the mountain, which only had the 2 items you ended up actually needing at the end were in Paradox Cave. It could have given you a reason to check out Hera. I don't know, like it almost helped really you to find it so late. Mode.
I felt really bad hitting go mode in Paradox Cave because I was like, oh great, like this is all you had to do. So that felt bad, but again, the only thing that kind of kept me grounded was the fact that sword on catfish, sword and pendant pod, which my opponent may or may not have gotten. So, or at best maybe he gets the catfish sword, but doesn't get the pod sword. So
yeah, he in fact did not get the mushroom sword. Well, he did pick it up, but it was a green 20 by the time he turned it in.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry. One other thing to mention. prieR did decline to come up for an interview after this race, so we will not be joined by him today. But still, it was a tough to find boots in a location like that. So get your GGs in chat for him.
Yeah, GG's prieR. It's weird. Like you never want to celebrate your opponent making a mistake, but there was part of me when I saw the forfeit. I was like, oh gosh, did he soft lock? Did his equipment crash? Like my first thought was hardware malfunction.
Oh yeah, we've had that at least once this tournament, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird to be like, oh yay, it was a mistake instead, But at the same time, I was glad that it wasn't, something out of his control that that caused him from being able to finish.
Yeah, of course, in these one-on-one races, like, truly anything can happen. So even if you find something late and you feel really behind, there's always a chance. But yeah, the boots in that spot was truly one of the worst things you can find at that point in the race. So understandable.
Yeah, I felt like flippers on mirrorless Smiths was kind of rude. I felt like hookshot on pyramid ledge was kind of rude. I don't know. I mean, maybe I could have just routed different and worked that in, but just the way I routed, I was like, oh, of course, the hookshot's going to be there. I felt really great about my route until I found flippers and then the hookshot, and then I hit go mode Paradox Cave, and I was like, oh well, prieR's probably in GT right now.
Yeah. So one of the questions we wanted to ask you was, do you remember where you found your Turtle Rock medallion?
Oh, Spike Cave.
It was okay. Yeah, because by the time you got there, you had never checked it, right? You had all 3 medallions.
Yeah, I think I was missing maybe Ether, because Ether was in Ice Palace. So I think I found. Yeah, I think I did Spike Cave before I did Mirrorless Smith. So yeah, that would have been Bombos and Pod, then Quake in Spike Cave, and then Ether in Ice Palace.
Yeah, definitely a few other, along with that hookshot, that's been kind of a trolley location. That could have been something that determined the race for sure. If either of you had skipped Spike Cave, weirdly, I think you both did it at exactly the same time. So we saw,
yeah.
But yeah,
At that point, I had already kind of committed not to doing Mirrorless Smith, so it just made sense at that point to me at least. Maybe not to others, but it felt right to me.
Yes, synchronized spelunking, I guess it would be. Yeah, maybe not.
No, I think that's right. So you have a potentially a double header tomorrow, right? I'm just curious, like what your takeaways from this race are going to be going into a game 2 where you're up, not really at risk of elimination.
It feels good. My last tournament, I don't think I won a single game 1 until I was in like the 3rd or 4th round of brackets. I would always lose my game 1. I lost my game 1 against Divisides, against Etium, against Top Life, against Yagamod. And then I think maybe Willard was my first game 1 win or something like that. So I don't know. It feels kind of nice to be on the other end of it this time, like where I can afford to drop one. Of course, I don't want to. I don't know. It's hard to break qualifier mode. Like even checking Ice Rod Cave, right? It's like I'm still hesitant to gamble. I also had the opportunity to skip the big key chest in Eastern. I opted not to do that, and honestly, even going up to the mountain for Spike and Spectacle, that's something I would rather skip in most situations. But I found myself doing it, so I don't know. I think I'm still trying to get a feel. I basically had a cool off for an entire week where I've been watching other matches, but I haven't really been running a whole lot myself. So I'm still not sure how I want to run the qualifiers. This felt great. I don't felt like the item placements were compatible with my route, but I don't think I had a bad route. I had a gaff where I tried to go to Graveyard Ledge without a mirror. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, we saw
in my
that.
mind, I was like, oh yeah, I can just clear out Nord Dark World on the way to Catfish, and I was like, oh yeah, you don't have a mirror, doofus.
Yeah, we were all sort of holding our breath at that moment because as you Kern jumped, we were hoping you would head south to the pyramid, and it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, we definitely weren't making fun of that play at all on comms.
I'm sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the race tomorrow. We got a potential doubleheader, so if the game 3 needs to happen, it'll be happening right after, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I believe it's going to be restreamed as well. So everyone just follow all of the SpeedGaming channels 1 through 6. There's just nonstop high caliber Zelda races happening right now. It's really great to see. But yeah, that's at 6:40 tomorrow with Game 3, if necessary, immediately following. And then the winner of that will go on to face Imosaru, another great runner. And the loser will go on to face GFE, another great runner. So it's a tough group.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts on the seed, P-Train?
GG again, prieR. Looking good to our rematch tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely GG to prieR, both runners. And yeah, I think we can wrap her up. There is going to be another race coming up in just 10 or so minutes, I think, here on SG4. It's going to be Scrub Casual versus Aussie 101. Should be another good one. But that's just one of, I believe, 4 more races happening tonight. We have pieRD Wong and McLegging at 10:10 on SG2. Orange and Asder at 11:10 on SpeedGaming, and Rando After Hours at midnight. pieRD Wong and McLegging again, if necessary. So yeah, settle in, pop some popcorn, enjoy some more Rando. It's been fun to watch. But yeah, thanks to our runners. Thanks to everyone involved in the stream. We'll link for on the tracker, and of course, beer. Homemade beer here in the booth.
Yeah, it was great calming with you. This was an interesting race. It was a really good race to watch in terms of divergence, but it was really unfortunate that the boots locked the whole thing at the end there. But yeah, it was great to watch, great fun to calm, and looking forward to doing it again next time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thanks all. Stay tuned for Scrub Casual versus Aussie coming up in about 10. Enjoy.